What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Lake Julian Disc Golf Course and we are battling two different putters. One with the flight numbers that I think the other one should have, but I don't know how that one flies. So we are looking at my TI Flex Luna versus from Innova. This is the Star Colt. The numbers given to it by Innova are 3, 4, -1, 1. The numbers given to the Luna are 3, 4, 0, 2. 4, okay, I'll say that for the Luna, but 0, 2, very questionable, especially in this plastic. I always thought that the Luna and the Pure, a -1, 1 putter, flew very similar. So let's see if the Colt has any similarities to the Luna. We're gonna start off here from the short pad because I am still not 100% warm yet. So we're just gonna throw a nice smooth shot. It's about 200 feet. Wow, that disc is accurate. A little bit of an early release, but you saw that that does have a little bit of turn, a little bit of drift to it. Now, does the Colt, which has actually a pretty decent amount of dome for a Innova putter, does this have any flip or turn? Okay, so the Luna that says it's a 0, 2 is probably a -1, 1, but the Colt that says it's a -1, 1 might actually be a 0, 2. Could be bad release, not 100% warm yet, and haven't given it a good, clean, full power snap yet. But do those numbers need to be flip-flopped? Should this be a plastic conspiracy video instead of a bonus battle? Also, I think there's beavers at work here because this bridge is now partially underwater. Now, I didn't find a G-Star one, which would have probably been a better representation of pairing it up against the TI Flex Luna, because I think if you threw an ESP Luna, it's going to be a little bit more stable than this Flexi one. That being said, is this going to be the way that the Cicada is a -1, 1, but the TL or the TL3 from Innova is definitely a -1, 2? I think that's possible. Let's see how much of a lace job we can get on this fairway. This one is a little further, pushing into that 250, 260 range. The goal here is to make it past the one tree down there on the right and try to make it past the stump. If we can make it past the stump, we're decent placement for both holes, for both placements. Okay, we almost made it to the stump. It held a hair straighter. Actually, probably just pulled it a little bit. See if I can't get a clean release with this Colt. Ooh, and the skip past the stump. Okay, so Colt with 1 point, Luna with 1 point. I'm seeing... I don't know if the Colt is a true -1, 1. Again, more power is going to tell us more if it does actually flip up. But Innova is one of those companies where if you get a brand new premium plastic disc that says -1 as the turn, it probably needs about a month of seasoning before it's a -1. Most other companies tend to be a little bit more accurate with the molds when they come out. But what that does mean is that Innova tends to be more overstable, tends to be more torque resistant, and tends to be more wind resistant in the long run over the majority of their discs, because they just have a different rating scale for what makes a disc straight. 270 now, so we are pushing it up a little bit further in distance, but again, 3-speed high glide putters should have the distance, should have the ability to make it all the way there. And if we start to power it up to actually get to almost that 300 mark, we'll get to see, does this actually flip up? Does it actually turn and ride? What does the Colt do? Okay. So with some power, does turn into a -1.1. That's where, because it's Star, it'll beat in faster than Champion, but it's not G-Star. But because it's Star, it'll probably take about a month before you'll start to see it have that flight on a softer putter style shot, unless anything changes over the course of this video. Okay, I left the Luna a little bit low, very similar to the first hole, and I kept the Colt, and I actually got the Colt a little bit higher. So I think, unless the Colt went massively far past the basket, I think Colt is definitely the one. Okay, it's almost pin high. Colt takes the point here, so Colt has 2 up on the Luna. Let's see if the Luna can come back from this, because right now it is 2 in a row for the Colt. This is the first Innova, brand new Innova premium plastic putter that I've ever thrown that wasn't like an alternate feeling putter, similar to the Dart, the Sonic, something that's not necessarily your typical putter feel. This is the first one from Innova that I felt or thrown that actually does have some decent amount of understability out of the box. Most of them have to be beaten in to get there, or you just have to get them in base plastic. And with the stability of what I've seen so far out of both of these, this TI Flex Luna was already a little straighter. I wanted it a little bit flippier. And the Colt actually is exhibiting very similar signs to the Z-Swirl Tour Series or the North Cove Lunas, which is a completely different slot category. But if it starts to exhibit, because I mean the parting line, fairly similar. It is slightly beaded, so probably has less of a tendency to flip over. But Colt has the box here. We're gonna go pushing backhand turnover, try to get way down the fairway. If they fade out a little bit, that's fine. If they end up OB left, probably not gonna be the one with the point. It does hold it really well. It does. It doesn't really turn any extra. It gets to that point and then just holds that turn. Which, okay, yeah, I'll give it -1, but I think if I were to actually really fully commit to the hyzer instead of going the hyzer, the really, really soft hyzer that's going to let it turn over, I don't know if it would turn over from more hyzer. Okay, well, grip lock, but it was turning over more. It got to that angle and then turned over an extra little bit before it hit the branch. So that shows me that the Luna is probably a little bit more understable, which means that they're going to bring it back to even on this whole Luna with 2, Colt with 2. This is a really interesting matchup because I'm kind of super in love with the Lunas, but also the Colt isn't a bad disc. It just may not be this it may not have the understability for the most understable throwing putter. So we'll see. Got a couple more hole ideas where we're actually going to add some decent amount of power to it and see how far it goes. It's flying good, but it's not flying good enough in the ways that I want it to for it to kick out the TI Luna yet. All right, this is gonna be our final hole. I'm gonna try to throw them on the same power level and the same angle of release and see which one flips up and which one turns over more. And given that this has a pretty significant drop in elevation, if they turn over more but then still kind of flex back at the end, I'm still going to give the point to the one which flips over the most. Here we have why I think the Luna is always going to be a little bit flippier and a little bit faster. Just goes a little bit further, a little bit easier, because this super flat spot versus the rounded over spot, and then this almost bevel with a bead cut into it, similar to the way they did with the Kratos. So I think that the Colt is always going to be a little less far, a little less glidey, just because it has the profile to slow down faster. Luna has the box. Can Luna take the cake? A good amount of hyzer, flips up just laser beam dead straight. From that amount of hyzer, does the Colt flip up to flat or does it turn over? It rode very straight, but there we saw it just doesn't have as much flip up as the Luna. Didn't quite make it all the way to flat, and then it just faded out a little bit before the Luna did. So for an Innova putter, yeah, it's got high glide for an Innova putter, but among glidey putters, it's still kind of middle of the pack. Whew. So it is what it is. I guess Luna is going to be the one that stays in my bag. Hopefully you guys enjoy content like this. If so, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, make sure to comment all of that down below. Please make sure to subscribe. It helps you guys out with these subscriber-only giveaways. And if you want to be automatically entered into monthly giveaways, check out the memberships as well. Until next time, see you out on the course.